Welcome to Friday Night Fights. We are at Mohegan Sun for the return of tournament boxing. Boxino 2014 gave two men a chance to shine, and tonight it begins anew for a new group of junior middleweights. Boxino is back on Friday Night Fights. All any competitor asks for is a chance. In the sport of boxing, they are very few and far between for most. Tonight, 8 fighters are given that chance. Boxino is back, a bracket-style tournament that will bring one of these men into the spotlight they all crave and are prepared to fight for. Opportunity is knocking on the door. Now is the time. We are live inside the Mohegan Sun Resort and Casino for Friday Night Fights. As always, brought to you by Corona Extra. My name is Todd Grisham, and welcome to March Madness a month early. Boxino Madness is upon us. 8 men enter, only 1 man leads as Boxino champion. Make that 2 men, actually, because next week, the heavyweight tournament begins. But first things first, tonight, it's the junior middleweights. Let's take a look at the bracket. There they are, our quarterfinal matchups. They're all scheduled for 6 rounds. Now, in the event that after 6 rounds, a fight is declared a draw, then we go to a draw breaker round, a 7th round, and a winner will be determined. I can't wait to get started. Right now, let's send it down to the men that will be calling the action, Joe Tessitore and Teddy Atlas.
Thank you very much, Todd, and we've said it before. It's worth saying again as our fans are set to experience it, but tournament-style boxing with easy-to-follow win and advance brackets. It takes average fights and average fighters, and it makes them much better. Teddy, not unlike the way that right now in college basketball, mid-level teams that hardly anybody's paying attention to, a month from now you throw them in brackets, you give it some exposure, you make it worth something, the whole world will be paying attention to. What should we be paying attention to in this process?
Chocolates. You like chocolate?
Yeah, I do like chocolates, yeah.
All right.
Thank you.
They're not for you.
What do we got? I like the ones with the nuts in them now.
Yeah, I do too, but they're not for you. But Valentine's Day tomorrow, obviously, and I am thinking of you. I'm thinking of all our loved ones out there, but I'm also thinking about the movie Forrest Gump.
Oh, the box of chocolates.
Yeah, where he always said, my mama always said, life was like a box of chocolates. You never know what you're gonna get. Well, for me, that sums up this tournament. You just never know what you're gonna get. My favorite is coconut.
You like the coconut?
I really love it.
You're not gonna sing coconut.
No, and I'll break your fingers if you go near them. But
thank you. I'm going to get the English toffee if you don't mind. Thank you.
Listen, who's going to be the favorite in the tournament for me? That's what this is about. Who's going to be your favorite? Who's going to be your coconut out there? For me, I'm thinking about maybe Skorokhod, the Ukrainian fighter. Yeah. Strong, physical, aggressive, amateur pedigree of 200 fights, undefeated, confident. I'm wondering, will he match up and maybe advance against last year's returnee, Brandon Adams? That would be nice. I mean, that's what it's all about, finding your favorite and following him. And there's Brandon Adams, the man that I was talking about, last year's returnee. He will not get any of my chocolate either. And
I hope these weren't for Elaine going back to Staten Island, were they?
Elaine gets better
They're
than
going to be
this.
a little short there. I'm sorry about that, Elaine.
Elaine
she does much better than chocolates.
She gets more than just chocolates.
Yeah, that's much deeper in the pocket than chocolates.
My mama didn't raise a fool.
No, nor is Bernardo a fool either. He's standing by with Brandon Adams. Take it away.
Brandon, why was it that you wanted to participate once again in Boxino?
Because it was an opportunity to get back out there and get my name out there.
Now, how will the experience from the first tournament where you got to the final help you out in this occasion?
Well, because I know the format better than all the other fighters, and in a sense, I am a Boxino's veteran now.
All right, so what is different from Brandon Adams, the fighter, who made his debut last year, fought those 3 fights, and now is fighting on Boxino the second time around?
Experience. I've gained a lot of experience the last Boxino tournament, and now this year, I'm coming in there with that experience that was gained from last year, and I'm excited about it.
You're excited, but so is Alex Perez, who is your opponent.
Good.
What do you expect from him?
I expect the best Alex Perez. I expect for him to come out there, to not try to make any mistakes, to come out there and follow his game plan, because I know that's exactly what we plan on doing.
Well, we look forward to seeing you in the ring tonight. Todd, we send it down to you.
That is Brandon Adams, who made the final last year in our middleweight tournament. Brandon will be in our fourth and final fight tonight. Besides our Boxino bouts, we'll have a look back at one of the greatest upsets in the history of boxing, and all of sport for that for all that matters. I think I said that right. The 25th anniversary of Buster Douglas's shocking knockout victory over Mike Tyson. Make sure you're a part of the show tonight. Reach out to me on Twitter at Grisham ESPN, and of course Nigel Collins, future boxing Hall of Famer and our social media contributor. He's at ESPN FNF. And score the fights using our Friday Night Fights Facebook page or by going to www.fnfvote.com. We want to know how you're going to score tonight's Boxino bout. Right out of the gate, a pretty good one. You'll see Teddy's personal favorite, Stanислав Skorokhod, taking on that man, Michael Mura. It's the 2015 edition of Boxino, the super middleweight division, on its way next. And how do you see our Boxino bracket playing out? We're about to find out. 4 quarterfinal bouts coming your way live. First up, it is Stanислав Skorokhod. You heard Teddy mention him briefly. Comes all the way from the Ukraine. The man he's fighting hails from a city a little bit closer, Cleveland, Ohio. That's Michael Mura, who prides himself on his sense of humor and his ability just to take everything in style. But when it comes to fighting in the ring, he'd like you to refer to him as the silverback.
You do know I'm just here so I don't get fined, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, I had to.
You gotta get that out of the way?
Yeah, I had to do it. The silverback was something a group of boxers and friends from Cleveland we came up with. We came up with a lot of different animals called the Animal Kingdom, you know, and everybody in this group has to pick an animal, you know, and I picked the silverback because they're kind animals, but when they're forced to fight, they fight with such ferocity and so strong. My father, seeing how feisty I was, he took me into a gym, and at the age of 8 years old, my first time in the gym, I got beat up bad. I sparred my first time ever in the gym. National champion named Juan McPherson. I went at him so hard, and he bust my nose. I remember him busting my nose, and I just couldn't stop. It was like addicting. It was, I don't know what it was about it, but I just wanted to spar him every day until I beat him. But it was so competitive, and it felt so good, I just had to come back the next day.
Я родился в городе Славутич. Вот, как его построили в 1987 году. Я родился в 1989 году. Там я, грубо говоря, прожил всю жизнь и развивался там, ходил в школу. Закончил институт, всю жизнь занимался спортом. Папа у меня работает на Чернобыльской атомной станции. Уже пенсионер, все равно продолжает работать, поскольку жизнь такая. 10 лет папа отвел меня на бокс, вот, и продолжал этим заниматься у Кима Геннадия Родионовича, покойного уже. Вот, и с тех пор я уже поменял, изучил, пообщался с многими тренерами. Ким Геннадий Родионович, первый мой тренер, Царство Небесное. Конечно же, откроется новый путь, новые двери, более, так сказать, большой уровень бокса. Проявить себя можно на весь мир и хорошо показать себя.
So it's Mura versus Skorokhod, the only battle tonight between unbeatens. And as much as I despise it when others say it, Joe, I can't resist myself. Someone's O must go.
Why not, Todd? Get after it. You do it if you feel it. Let's see whose O will go in the Boxino opener here of 2015. 13-0, 8-0. Moore and Skorokhod. Moore the southpaw, naturally lefty. Skorokhod grew up in the north of Ukraine. Describes it as a city about 30 miles away from Chernobyl. Yes, that Chernobyl, and there is Moore. Hasn't fought since October 2013, a 16-month layoff. 28 years old, 5'7", he gives up 2 inches to Skorokhod. A 25-year-old who's 8-0 with 6 knockouts, 7 of his 8 fights back home in Ukraine. His last fight, his U.S. debut. That happened in California, won by second round TKO against David Lopez. Mike Ortega's our referee.
Gentlemen, we went over the rules. Give me a good, clean fight. Protect yourself at all times. Obey my commands at all times. Good luck to both of you. Touch them up.
All right, you know the deal here. 6 rounds in Boxino. You win, you advance. Here we go. Opening quarterfinal bout, Skorokhod and Michael Moore.
It's only the second fight in the United States for Skorokhod. Let's see how well he travels. And let's get right to what's important. Inactivity. Moore, 1 year and 4 months his last fight. 2 fights before that, he was off 1 year. It's going to hurt him in this fight. By the time he gets rid of that rust, maybe the fight might be lost for him. That's the danger of having that kind of inactivity going into a fight, especially going in with an undefeated fighter.
Some size advantage right away with the Ukrainian fighter.
Yeah, the one advantage, maybe it's an advantage. Moore's going to need it to be an advantage style. Southpaw, maybe it helps slow down his opponent a little bit, you know, coming from that opposite side. But Skorokhod, he just fought and knocked out his southpaw in his last fight, so in his mind, mentally, he's got to feel good that he can deal with the southpaw.
He's been sending that right hand straight down the alley a few times early on here.
Yeah, the southpaw killer, right hands. But you see who's pressing the fight, Skorokhod. Moore's looking to use those legs, keep Skorokhod off balance, pick spots. Maybe counterpunch a little bit if Skorokhod reaches a little. Skorokhod has the least amount of fights, pro fights, in this tournament.
That's a good point. He had 200 amateur fights, but only 8. So the least experienced fighter in Boxino.
But that 200 amateur fights, man, that makes up for a lot of missed pro fights. See a little redness on the left eye of Skorokhod. They better get on top of that in the corner. The cut man used the end swell, that iron piece that sits in the ice, gets cold, keeps swelling down. Skorokhod starting to get closer and closer to connecting where he wants to.
Moore came to the inside there. Coming to the last half minute there. It's just a slip as he got pushed down. Michael Ortega will clean the gloves of Moore. Reminder, 6 rounds. Got to go for it. And you can go for it and score along as well on the Friday Night Fight Facebook page, fnfvote.com.
Has the inactivity hurt Moore? Well, not a great deal, but maybe enough where at least he's lost his first round.
Moore and Skorokhod, end of 1. Boxino's underway, folks.
Time.
There's the Ukraine's Stanislav Skorokhod, who turned to boxing at age 10. Prior to that, his parents had him in a music club playing the accordion. Quite a hard left turn from the accordion to a little pugilistic endeavors.
Yes. Box. You could pinch your fingers in an accordion. That could hurt, but that's about it.
Yeah, danger level here.
A little bit of a drop off of pain. A little change, a little separation there. And talking about separation, I mentioned Skorokhod, 200 amateur fights, the least amount of pro fights. Moore has more pro fights, but who are you in there with? Moore has been in very soft. Combined records of his last 6 opponents, Joe, 45 wins, 104 losses, and 8 draws.
Now up against the undefeated Skorokhod, and there is more pronounced swelling under that right eye that we saw develop in round 1.
The Skorokod's looking for the left hook. Usually you look for the right hand a lot of times against the southpaw. Or Skorokhod from the Ukraine, he's trying to zero in on left hooks. He's just missing. And I have a funny feeling in a minute he's not just going to be missing. He's going to land that left hook, and if he puts the right hand behind it, he's going to get a knockdown.
There was a straight right in the midst there of that combination as Moore tried to punch himself out of trouble, but then was off balance as he fell forward.
Skorokhod starting to take over here.
Thudding right hand, and he's just muscling his way in as Moore wrapped up and pushed ahead.
Yeah, Moore's hurt. His legs just betrayed him. You know, the polygraph test for a fighter, the lie detector test, sometimes the legs. Moore's legs don't look great.
Skorokhod is on the offensive. Patiently stalking his prey, and there is the left hook that comes in, and Moore is hurt.
Yeah, he's hurt. The legs, again, polygraph test. He might be trying to tell you that I'm okay, but that's a lie. He's not okay. The legs tell you that.
Yep. Stiffening up as he goes back into that neutral corner. Just able to get out of the way of that right hand. Trying to survive round number 2 here. A dominant start by Stanislav Skorokhod.
Yeah, the only reason Moore's still here is because only 1 big shot has landed. As soon as 2 land, I think he's going.
Skorokhod looking to get after it here as Moore's trying to survive. Ortega's giving it a peek here.
Yeah, Skorokod's trying to land more than 1 at a time. That's the trick. He lands 1, he hurts him. But if he can land 2, good night, baby. I think it'd be a good idea for Skorokhod to go downstairs to the body.
Dominant round by the Ukrainian fighter. You said look for the left hook. There it was. More Boxino when we return to Mohegan Sun.
You hear me?
28-year-old Cleveland-based Michael Moore came in 13-0. He's in a hole here as we start round 3. Remember, scheduled for only 6 here in the opening round of this boxing tournament. Quarterfinal action to get Boxino started.
No knockdown.
They're saying no knockdown there.
Box.
So the reason I said at the end of the last round that Skorokhod should go to the body is he's got more on the defensive. What's that mean? That means Moore's thinking more defense right now, and there's the right hand.
Knockdown scored here. Just a half minute into round 3.
5, 6, 7, 8. You good? Your gloves. All right, let's see.
So even now, I think the body would be a good idea, even though it was the head that put him down, because Moore's going to try to survive. He's going to try to use his legs, try to move his head if he can, but the body doesn't move. So you go to the body. See, you missed it because you're reaching for the head. You go to the body now, you'll find it, and that will freeze the head.
Inside work with that right uppercut. Moore off balance, but gathered himself for a moment. Head hunting again, Teddy, and Moore with a chance to wrap up.
This is where a tournament gives you a chance to grow, mature, advance yourself a little bit, learn your lessons. You know, learn that, hey, maybe in that 3rd round with Moore, I should have went to the body a little bit more because he was surviving. He was looking for my headshots. Then go upstairs.
Even that right hand, that thudding blow sent him off balance. A stiffened leg that time on that glancing blow as Skorokhod aims for the target. Comes with a straight right again. Now Moore tries to invite him in. Covers up, receives a little more punishment. Can he survive as we come up on his final 60 seconds of round 3? Straight down the pipe with a right hand from Skorokhod.
Yeah, see, that's what I'm talking about. It's going to take 2 punches. That right hand right down the pipe, left hook behind it, this fight's over.
Keep him up!
No body punching by Skorokhod. That's why you still have more in there. These are the things you have to learn. These are the things you can learn in a tournament. Because then 3 weeks later, you get a chance to correct your mistakes.
Moore returns a little fire, but his legs are like spaghetti.
Only thing, again, that's keeping him up there more right now is heart. And the fact that Skorokhod only looking for one shot.
FNFvote.com or the Friday Night Fight Facebook page to join in the scoring. Opening bout of Boxino. Fireworks from the Ukrainian fighter. Corona Extra gives us the extra look.
Oh, it's the right hand against the southpaw, but it's the defense that sets up the offense. Skorokhod made the left hand miss, created an opening, and then he put Moore down. Defense so important.
Joe Tessitore and Teddy Atlas here at Mohegan Sun. Quarterfinals, opening bout of Boxino 2015, and it has been Stanislav Skorokhod in complete control. He had Michael Mura hurt in the second round, scored a big left hook, and then scored the knockdown there in round number 3. Round 4 scheduled for 6 if it goes that long.
Joe, defense so important. I know we always get intoxicated by offense, but the defense set up that punch from Skorokhod. The defense, if I remember correctly, there's offense, but the defense won the Super Bowl. Skorokhod gets hit less than Moore. Moore's thinking about whether or not he wants to be in this tournament anymore.
This isn't going to end well. They need to protect this kid, and that's what Michael Ortega did. He may have gotten up there, but that was going to get real ugly. And Skorokhod scores a win.
I was saying all night, 2 punches. And, you know, because he was having his way, Skorokhod, landing one shot, whether it was the left hook, whether it was right hand, wasn't coupling them, wasn't putting them together. If he had, fight would have been over earlier. But it was only a matter of seconds in this round where he was going to land those 2 punches. And it's better that he didn't. It's better that the referee saved Moore from potential damage, from really being hurt, because he was defenseless at the end, and those 2 punches were about to come.
So we can fill in the bracket with a name, as Stanislav Skorokhod has moved on to April 3rd and the semifinals, and Michael Moore suffers the first loss of his career. Let's go back and show you the knockdown here in the 4th round.
Yeah, right hands against southpaw. Sometimes there's a right hand against the southpaw. Take another angle. Snaps that shoulder pretty good. Around the glove. He saw the opening was around the glove. He went around the glove behind the ear, and down goes Moore. And the end of the fight, right hand, Moore arm. Not a great one, but Moore was already hurt. And like I said, the referee saw what I saw. In a couple seconds, you weren't going to see just the right hand. You were going to probably see a right hand left hook that probably could have hurt Moore.
You know, that was a fortunate right hand there for Michael Moore, because it revealed just enough without doing enough damage to get the stoppage there. For the particulars, we send it up to the ring to Sweet Baby Ray Flores.
Ladies and gentlemen, the end comes at 1 minute 3 seconds of the 4th round. The referee in charge, Michael Ortega, steps in and waves off the contest for your winner by technical knockout. Still undefeated and advancing to the Boxino semifinals, Stanislav Nuclear Ghost Skorokhod.
Nuclear Ghost as the nickname for Stanislav Skorokhod. Grew up 30 miles away from Chernobyl, of course, the site of that 1986 power plant accident. And the Ukrainian advances, the first name to move on in Boxino 2015. He awaits to see who he will fight on April 3rd. John Thompson is going to be facing this man, California's Ricardo Pinell. He's up next. Stay with us.